Welcome into houseofsparky.com. I'm Zach Pacleb, and joining me as always, staff writer Kaelen Jones, and we're going to preview Arizona State's matchup against Texas Tech. Now, Kaelen, this is really a strength on pride type of matchup. Arizona State takes great pride in its defense, and Texas Tech's air raid offense was the second best in the country last year. Patrick Mahomes, a guy that Todd Graham compared to Case Keenum and that Keith Patterson likened to Magic Johnson, is back for another go-around and already put up some great numbers against Stephen F. Austin. So how does ASU game plan for a guy that talented?
Well, Zach, first off, let me say this about Patrick Mahomes. When you talk about a complete quarterback in college football at the Division I level, 6'3", 230 pounds, Duke has the arm strength, the mobility, the awareness. I mean, he throws no-look passes to his receivers during practice. I mean, this is the best, or arguably the best quarterback in all of NCAA football right now. And the comparison to Magic Johnson is really intriguing because you look at the previous game, 17 different receivers caught passes. Obviously, not all of the completions came from him, but for him to be able to spread the ball that well against any type of opponent, I mean, it could be FCS or D3 level for all I care. Patrick Mahomes is arguably the best quarterback in NCAA football, and we showed what kind of plays he's capable of making on our site earlier this week, inside the pocket, outside of the pocket. He's a creator, he's a true playmaker at the quarterback position. He's really dynamic, and to be honest, I'm not sure whether or not ASU will be able to completely hold and limit him, but maybe to slow him down a bit, keep him around the 450, 500-yard mark instead of the 600-yard mark. I mean, that's a positive day where you're talking about total yards from Patrick Mahomes and one of the best complete quarterbacks in all of NCAA football.
Yeah, that speaks to his talent and his ability to really rack up the yards and really take chunks off the field if you've got to keep him under 500 yards, and that being a challenge. Now, with the air raid offense, it is a lot of releasing type of things, a lot of bubble screens, a lot of quick plays like that. And so Arizona State's going to want to attack and get in the backfield. And obviously, that's a way to release that pressure. So how does ASU make sure that they can game plan for that and don't over-pursue on defense?
Right, and Keith Patterson actually talked about it during practice, or during press conference after practice a few days ago. He said that he's not nervous going into this matchup. He thinks that his defensive scheme is formed to stop spread air raid type teams like this, where they're passing the ball horizontally, and even though they take shots vertically. That zone implementation that we saw more of last week, obviously Keith Patterson handling more play calling duties this week. I think that you're going to see a lot more of that this week, and when they incorporate their 4-man, 5-man, 6-man pass rush schemes instead of their 3-man rush schemes like we saw a lot last week, I think you're going to see maybe a more exotic look from ASU than we've seen in the past, or at least in comparison to last year, where we saw a lot of cover 0, cover 1 looks where everybody was playing man in the secondary. But going into next week, I think that going into tomorrow's matchup, I think that you're going to see a bit of a different look from ASU. I think stopping the horizontal game will be something that they find trouble with going on because of the quick stuff behind the line of scrimmage. Mahomes can get the ball insanely fast, and obviously they don't have the same playmakers that they did last year, but going into this matchup, ASU is going to have to be able to contain the edge and really set the perimeter if they want to win this game.
Yeah, on the inside, they'll be boosted by Ami Latu's return. Tayshawn Smallwood said that he and Renell Wren, they have a nice little rotation going. Right. But on the next level, that spur spot, Marcus Ball going to be out for the first half due to that targeting ejection. And so we saw in practice, like Layu Mokiola had been, he'd been practicing in the fall at bandit safety, moved back into spur. We saw Tyler Wiley do it a little bit at nickel in that nickel package, and we did see the 11-11 on 11 on Thursday. So what does that spur bring, and what should ASU be looking for from that spot in order to really counteract the sideline-to-sideline type of stuff?
Well, really, it's more of a hybrid position when you're talking about the spur position. So it's easier for those type of players to interchange between playing the safety position and playing that linebacker hybrid spur role. So you're looking at Layu Mokiola. He's one of the better cover guys and one of the leaner guys who will play that spur position, as well as Tyler Wiley. He's probably a bit bigger than some of the other players who play there. Marcus Ball is definitely a linebacker type position where you're talking about the spur position. He's definitely made to stop the run. So I think having Tyler Wiley and having Layu Mokiola, forgive me for saying his name wrong, but having those two, kind of be able to interchange at that position, that adds a lot of versatility. Texas Tech may not run the ball a lot, but they're definitely going to be able to pass. And when you're talking about having physical players at the line of scrimmage who can help set the perimeter, especially on the outside, I think having those two will definitely be key. It'll be a big role in this weekend's matchup.
It'll be a really key thing to see how that, ASU's hybrid position, the devil backer, the spur linebacker, how those guys really counteract what the quick stuff that Texas Tech's going to do. Now let's flip it around. Nobody's really talked about the matchup between ASU's offense and Texas Tech's defense, but asking Caleb Balaj at practice, what he's seen on film, he straight up said that Texas Tech isn't a team of good tacklers, which his eyes might light up from that on film, and ASU's running attack has been so potent.
Right. And it does show up on tape when he talks about Texas Tech not being the best tackling team. I forget the defensive coordinator's name, but obviously him coming in, he implements a more attacking style as far as defending the run. You're going to see a lot of game tackling and a lot of over pursuit. That's something that we pointed out in our game breakdown. Texas Tech obviously likes to be aggressive when they're facing the run, but against the passing game, they're a bit more lax. I think, like you pointed out, Kaelen, Richard, if they're running off tackle against these these 4-3 under fronts that Texas Tech is going to throw at them, I think they're going to have a lot of success running on the backside of the offensive line in the line of scrimmage. I think that you're going into this game, you're going to see a heavy dose of Manny Wilkins, Kaelen, Richard. It's going to be every week, and I think this is going to be really the first week where you see all three of them on the field at the same time for multiple possessions. Last week we saw it on the first series, and then after that it kind of vacated away and it came in sprinkled towards the end of the game. But I think this week you're going to see a lot more implication of that and a lot more run-heavy schemes this week.
Yeah, so Texas Tech, you expect them to air it out. Arizona State, probably a ground-heavy approach. Mm-hmm. Quick prediction, what do you got?
Oh man, on the spot I'm thinking Texas Tech.
Okay.
I think, score. I'll say it's 45-42. How's that?
All right, close game. You can expect a shootout either way. Expect a lot of yards to be gained, a lot of touchdowns to be scored. And as always, that's Kaelen Jones. I'm Zach Pacleb. Make sure you stay tuned to HouseOfSparky.com for all your game day coverage of Arizona State versus Texas Tech.